I still remember the sound of the car door shutting, sharp and final, like a sentence being ended before I could speak. I stood on the gravel driveway gripping my suitcase, staring at my parents through the rear window. "Be brave," my mother said softly, but she didn't step out of the car. "I don't want to stay here," I whispered, my voice shaking. "Please take me home." "You'll be fine," my father replied, already looking forward. "This school will make you stronger." "But I'm only 9, I said. "I'll be good. I promise." My mother forced a small smile. "This is for your future." "For my future?" I repeated. "What about now?" No one answered. The car rolled forward, tires crunching against the gravel. I lifted my hand, hoping they might stop, hoping my father would open the door and say it was a mistake. They didn't. I watched the car disappear, and a cold truth settled in my chest. I wasn't being dropped off. I was being left behind. Inside the school gates, the building loomed tall and gray, like it had never known warmth. My suitcase felt heavier with every step. A woman with tight hair and sharp eyes approached me. "Name?" she asked. "Oh, I'm here to stay," I said quietly. "That wasn't the question," she replied. "Your name?" "Daniel," I murmured. "I'm Mrs. Carter," she said. "Follow me." No wandering. No complaining. I nodded, though my throat felt too tight to speak. The dorm smelled like detergent and old floors. Beds were lined up in perfect rows, thin blankets folded with military precision. "This is your bed," Mrs. Carter said. "Lights out at 9. Talking after that earns punishment." "Punishment?" I asked. She raised a brow. "You'll learn." When she left, the silence pressed down on me like weight. I sat on my bed, staring at my suitcase. "Don't cry," I whispered to myself. "Don't cry. They'll come back." But the words felt like lies. A boy on the opposite bed leaned toward me. "First day?" he asked quietly. "Yeah," I said. "Do they let you go home soon?" He hesitated. "Not really." "My name's Ethan," he added. "You look scared." "I am," I admitted. "I feel like I've been forgotten." "You're not forgotten," he said gently. "You're just stuck." Before I could reply, another boy snorted from across the room. "Look at him," Marcus mocked. "He looks like he's about to cry for his mommy." "I'm not," I snapped, even though my eyes burned. "Sure," Marcus laughed. "Kids like you never last." "Leave him alone," Ethan said. Marcus smirked. "Or what?" "Or you'll prove you're scared of someone smaller than you," Ethan replied calmly. Marcus rolled his eyes and turned away. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. "Thanks," I whispered. "People like him feed on fear," Ethan said. "Don't give him that." That night, I lay awake listening to distant footsteps and quiet sobs from other beds. I stared at the ceiling and whispered, "Why did you leave me?" No one answered. The loneliness felt louder than any sound I had ever known. The next morning, Mrs. Carter inspected us like soldiers. "Straight backs. Quiet mouths. Discipline builds character," she announced. I whispered to Ethan, "Do they ever smile here?" "Not often," he murmured. "But Mrs. Carter notices more than she lets on." Marcus bumped into me on the way out. "Careful, abandoned boy," he sneered. "I'm not abandoned," I said, though the words stung. "You sure?" he replied. "Because nobody came back for you." The sentence hit harder than any shove. Later, while unpacking, I found a folded note from my mother. "Read, we love you. Be strong." I clenched the paper. "If you love me," I muttered, "why does it feel like you gave up on me?" Ethan sat beside me. "You don't have to pretend you're okay," he said. "I don't want to beg them anymore," I replied. "I don't want to need people who walk away." "That's a hard promise," he said. "I'll keep it," I insisted. "I won't chase their approval. I won't break again." That evening, Marcus whispered from his bed, "Still waiting for rescue?" "No," I said firmly. "I'm done waiting." Mrs. Carter paused at the doorway and looked at me longer than usual. Her voice softened slightly. "Lights out," she said. As darkness filled the room, I pressed my hand against my chest and whispered, "If I've been discarded, then I'll become someone who never begs to be chosen." In that moment, I realized something painful and permanent. I wasn't just lonely. I had been emotionally left behind. And I promised myself I would never let anyone see how much it hurt again. I learned quickly that crying earned nothing here except laughter and trouble, so I trained my face to stay blank. "Don't let them see it," I whispered to myself in the mirror. "Feel it but never show it." During class, I kept my head down and my pencil moving. If I get perfect grades, I thought, Maybe my parents will finally be proud. A boy beside me leaned closer one afternoon. You work like someone's watching, he said. I glanced at him. Aren't they? He smirked. Not the way you think. I'm Liam. Daniel, I replied. Why do you care? Because you're building walls, he said quietly. I recognize the blueprint. I don't need walls, I muttered. I need results. Results won't protect your heart, Liam replied. Silence will. Marcus chose that moment to pass our desks. Still pretending you're important? He sneered. Books won't save you. They might, I said evenly. Ignorance definitely won't. He scoffed and walked away. Liam chuckled. You're braver than you look. I'm not brave, I admitted. I'm just tired of being weak. Then learn to hide it, he said. People attack what they can see. That night in the dorm, I stared at my ceiling again. Stop hoping, I told myself. Hope is a trap. But the word parents kept echoing in my head. Why haven't you written? I whispered. Did you forget me already? No answer came, only the sound of distant footsteps and Marcus laughing somewhere down the hall. The next day, Marcus cornered me near the lockers. You think you're better than everyone, don't you? I think I'm done being your target, I replied. He shoved my shoulder. Try stopping me. I clenched my jaw. One day I will. He laughed. Dream on, abandoned boy. The insult burned, but I swallowed the reaction. Emotion is ammunition, Liam murmured later. Don't hand him bullets. How do you stay so calm? I asked. I don't, he admitted. I just never let anyone see when I'm breaking. That sounded like survival. In literature class, a woman with warm eyes addressed us. I'm Miss Rowan, she said. Words can be armor or windows. Choose wisely. She handed back our essays and paused at my desk. You write like someone carrying pain, she observed. I write facts, I said carefully. Pain is irrelevant. Pain is human, she replied. Try writing the truth next time, not just what feels safe. After class she stopped me. If something hurts, put it on paper, she said gently. Silence lets wounds rot. I don't want pity, I told her. I'm not offering pity, she said. I'm offering a voice. That evening Liam and I sat on our beds. Do you ever miss home? I asked quietly. Home is a myth, he said. People disappoint. Expect less. I still want them to notice me, I confessed. If I'm perfect, maybe they'll care. Liam shook his head. Chasing love from people who walked away will only make you smaller. I don't want to be small, I said. Then become untouchable, he replied. Guard your heart like a secret. Marcus mocked me again during dinner. Working hard so mommy comes back? I stood slowly. Say that again. He smirked. Or what? I leaned closer. Or you'll regret thinking I'm helpless. For a moment he hesitated, then scoffed and looked away. My hands trembled afterward, but I hid them. Late that night I opened a blank notebook. What do I even write? I whispered. Miss Rowan's words echoed in my mind. So I wrote, I am angry. I am hurt. I am tired of waiting. Reading it back felt dangerous and relieving at the same time. Don't get attached to anyone, Liam warned the next morning. Attachment makes you predictable. I won't, I said. I'm done trusting easily. Marcus whispered from behind, still pretending you don't care? I don't, I replied, even though part of me still did. During class, Miss Rowan asked, who wants to share something honest? My heart raced, but I raised my hand. I wrote about being left behind, I said quietly. About pretending I don't need love. The room fell silent. Miss Rowan nodded. That honesty takes courage. Courage felt like a fragile word, but I accepted it. Later Liam said, careful. Letting people see inside you is risky. I know, I replied. But hiding everything hurts too. That night I stared at the ceiling again. I won't beg anymore, I whispered. I won't chase affection that never comes. Anger stirred beneath the sadness. If Marcus thinks I'm weak, I thought, I'll prove him wrong. If my parents think I'm forgettable, I added, I'll become unforgettable. I closed my notebook and pressed it to my chest. I'll survive without love, I promised. I'll build ambition, control my heart, and remember every insult. In the darkness, my loneliness deepened, but something new grew beside it. Determination. And a quiet desire for revenge. Every month, I wrote to my parents like it was a ritual I couldn't break. Dear Mom and Dad, I whispered as my pen moved, I'm doing well. I'm behaving. I'm trying my best. I told them about my grades, my classes, the awards I hoped to win. If you see my success, I thought, maybe you'll finally see me. Ethan watched me seal another envelope. You really think they'll write back this time? He asked gently. They have to, I replied. They're my parents. They've had plenty of chances, he said quietly. I don't want to believe they don't care, I muttered. That would hurt more. Mail day always felt like a test of my worth. A staff member would call names, handing out letters and packages. Marcus. Liam. Ethan. I held my breath every time. Daniel? Silence. The first time I told myself it was a delay. They're probably busy, I whispered. The second time I told myself to be patient. They'll reply next month, I insisted. By the fifth time the excuse felt thinner than paper. One afternoon Ethan sat beside me while other students read letters from home. Want to talk? He asked. I don't need to, I replied sharply. You don't have to pretend with me, he said. I know it hurts. I'm fine, I insisted. I don't care anymore. But when laughter echoed from a boy hugging his visiting parents, my chest tightened. Why don't they want me? I whispered under my breath. Ethan frowned. Don't say that. You're not unwanted. It feels that way, I said bitterly. Everyone else gets visits. I get silence. Marcus overheard and smirked. Still waiting for your imaginary family? They're not imaginary, I snapped. Then where are they? He challenged. I had no answer. That night I stared at the growing stack of unanswered letters. What did I do wrong? I whispered. Was I not good enough to keep? Ethan tried to lighten my mood. You've got me, he said. You're not alone. I appreciate that, I replied, but I don't want to depend on anyone. You're pushing people away, he warned. I'm worried about you. I'm protecting myself, I said. Caring too much only leads to disappointment. Another month passed. Another letter sent. Another silence. One afternoon I overheard two teachers speaking outside the classroom. His parents travel constantly, one said. Their careers come first. They barely ask about him, the other replied. It's unfortunate. The words felt like a blade. So it's true, I thought. They chose work over me. When Ethan found me afterward, my hands were shaking. They didn't just forget, I told him. They replaced me with their ambitions. That doesn't mean you're worthless, he said urgently. It feels like betrayal, I replied. Like being abandoned twice. You don't have to carry that alone, he said. I do, I insisted. Because trusting people hasn't helped. He looked hurt. Are you shutting me out too? I'm shutting out pain, I replied. If that includes you, I'm sorry. The distance between us grew after that. He still talked to me, but I answered with shorter replies. Why are you pulling away? He asked one evening. Because attachment is dangerous, I said. Because I'm tired of being the one who cares more. You're not heartless, he said softly. I'm becoming stronger, I corrected. There's a difference. I stopped writing long letters. Instead of begging for attention, I began writing goals. I'll be successful, I told myself. I'll be powerful. I'll never need their approval. When Marcus mocked me again, I barely reacted. You don't cry anymore, he noted. Did you finally accept nobody wants you? I accepted that I don't need anyone, I replied calmly. Liam nodded approvingly. That's how you survive. Miss Rowan noticed the change. You write with more control now, she observed. But less heart. I'm done exposing my heart, I told her. It only gets ignored. Don't let disappointment erase your humanity, she warned. I won't let it weaken me, I replied. Late at night I reread my old letters. We miss you. I hope you're proud. Please write back. The desperation embarrassed me. I won't write like that again, I vowed. I won't beg for love. Ethan tried once more to reach me. You don't have to turn cold, he said. You're allowed to feel. I feel, I replied quietly. I just don't show it anymore. You're changing, he said sadly. I have to, I answered. If I stay the same, I'll keep getting hurt. That realization settled into something solid. They chose their careers over raising me, I whispered to myself. So I'll choose myself over needing them. The sadness didn't disappear. It hardened. I'll become someone they regret ignoring, I promised. Someone powerful enough to never feel abandoned again. As another mail day passed without my name being called, I didn't flinch. I simply turned away and thought, this is the last time I wait for love that never comes. From that moment on, I stopped seeking affection. I started seeking control. And I began rebuilding myself into someone emotionally untouchable. Liam became the one person I thought I could trust without fear. "You don't talk to many people," he said one night. "Why me?" "Because you don't pretend," I replied. "Because you understand what it means to stay guarded." He smiled slightly. "I understand what it means to survive." We started spending more time together, whispering during study hours and talking late in the dorm. "What do you want after this place?" he asked. "I want power," I said honestly. "Success. Independence. I never want to feel small again." "That's ambitious," he replied. "I like that." I lowered my voice. "I don't trust people easily." "You can trust me," he said. "I keep secrets." So I told him things I had never said out loud. "I hate feeling abandoned," I admitted. "I hate needing anyone." "I get that," he said. "Needing people only gives them leverage." "I want to become untouchable," I whispered. "Emotionally, financially, socially." He nodded. "Then we think the same way." For a while I felt understood. Then Marcus started smiling at me more than usual. "Relax," he said one afternoon. "I know your secret." My stomach dropped. "What secret?" He leaned closer. "The one about your parents. The letters. The loneliness." My heart slammed. "Who told you?" He smirked. "Does it matter?" It did. That night I confronted Liam. "Did you tell Marcus anything about me?" He avoided my eyes. "He offered me a deal." "A deal?" I repeated. "He said he'd stop targeting me if I gave him information," Liam admitted. "It was nothing personal." "Nothing personal?" I echoed. "You sold my pain for convenience?" "I needed protection," he said. "You of all people should understand." "I trusted you," I replied quietly. "I chose to trust you." He sighed. "Trust is a weakness." "It wasn't supposed to be," I said. "Not with you." Marcus mocked me openly the next day. "So the mighty Daniel cries at night?" he jeered. Pathetic. I felt something inside me crack. When I cornered Liam later, my voice shook. "You let him humiliate me." "I warned you not to get attached," he said. "You ignored it." "You betrayed me," I said. "You knew how hard it was for me to open up." "I did what I had to do," he replied flatly. "So did my parents," I muttered bitterly. "And look how that turned out." He hesitated. "I never meant to hurt you." "But you did," I said. "Worse than anyone else." "Family abandonment hurt," I continued, "but I didn't choose them. I chose you." Silence stretched between us. "I thought we were allies," he said softly. "We were," I replied. "Until you proved loyalty means nothing to you." That night I replayed every conversation we'd had. Was any of it real? I whispered. Or was I just another advantage? Ethan noticed my mood. "What happened?" "Liam betrayed me," I said bluntly. "He told Marcus everything." "That's cruel," Ethan said. "I'm sorry." "I should have known better," I replied. "Trusting people always backfires." "You don't have to shut everyone out," he said gently. "I do," I insisted. "Because every connection becomes a weakness." Marcus continued pushing. "You still dreaming of being important?" he taunted. "Everyone knows your insecurities now." "They're not insecurities anymore," I replied calmly. "They're fuel." Liam tried to speak to me again. "We can fix this," he said. "You don't have to hate me." "I don't hate you," I answered coldly. "I've simply learned from you." "What did you learn?" he asked. "That trust is more dangerous than loneliness," I replied. "At least loneliness doesn't stab you in the back." He looked wounded, but I felt numb. Miss Rowan pulled me aside. "Your writing has changed," she observed. "It feels colder." "I'm done being vulnerable," I told her. "Vulnerability attracts betrayal." "Pain can harden you," she said. "But don't let it erase your empathy." "I'm not erasing empathy," I replied. "I'm controlling it." Late that evening, Liam whispered, "I never wanted to lose you as a friend." "You lost me the moment you traded my secrets," I said. "Friendship requires loyalty." Marcus laughed from across the room. "Looks like even your friends can't stand you." I ignored him. Inside, something solidified. "I won't rely on anyone again," I promised myself. "I won't hand out pieces of my heart." I shifted my focus entirely. I'll excel academically, I thought. I'll build influence. I'll become untouchable. When Liam passed me in the hallway, I didn't look at him. "What are we now?" he asked quietly. "Strangers," I replied. That's safer. He nodded slowly. You've changed. I had to, I said. Because betrayal hurts more than abandonment. That realization burned deeper than any insult. My parents taught me not to depend on love, I whispered to myself. You taught me not to trust it either. I clenched my fist. One day the people who hurt me will regret it. Marcus kept mocking, but it no longer rattled me. Liam stayed silent, guilt written across his face. I stayed focused. I won't be broken again, I vowed. I'll become successful, powerful, and emotionally unreachable. The friendship that once gave me comfort became a reminder. Trust is optional, I concluded. Strength is mandatory. And from that moment forward, I chose ambition over attachment, control over connection, and self-reliance over ever being betrayed again. Graduation crept closer, and no matter how hard I tried to suppress it, hope started whispering again. They might come, I told myself quietly. This time could be different. I hated that thought, yet I couldn't kill it. Ethan approached me one afternoon. You've been distant, he said. But I still remember when we helped each other survive. I remember too, I replied. I just learned to depend on myself. You don't have to shut me out, he said. We've both been through enough. I know, I admitted. I just forgot how to let people close. You can relearn, he offered. You're not alone anymore. Marcus, once loud and confident, now struggled to hold attention. Funny how things change, Ethan murmured. He's losing influence. Power shifts, I said calmly. It always does. For the first time, Marcus avoided my gaze instead of challenging me. Miss Rowan called me aside after class. Your writing has evolved, she said. There's strength in it now. I built that strength, I replied. Out of disappointment. You deserve more than emotional neglect, she said gently. You deserve pride, love, and recognition. I stopped expecting those, I admitted. But part of me still wants them. That part doesn't make you weak, she said. It makes you human. Late at night, I imagine graduation day. I'll walk across that stage, I whispered. I'll give a speech. They'll finally see me. I pictured my parents in the audience. Maybe they'll say they're proud, I murmured. Maybe they'll apologize. The fantasy felt dangerous but comforting. Ethan noticed my distraction. You're thinking about them again, aren't you? I am, I confessed. I don't want to care, but I do. That doesn't erase your strength, he said. It proves you still have a heart. I built walls for a reason, I replied. But sometimes I wonder what's on the other side. Possibility, he said softly. During dinner, Marcus muttered, Guess you'll finally get attention at graduation. Maybe, I replied. Or maybe I won't need it anymore. He scoffed weakly and looked away. Miss Rowan encouraged me to write a draft speech. What would you say if the people who hurt you were listening? She asked. I'd tell them I survived without them, I said. And I became more than they expected. Write that, she said. Let your voice be honest. That night I practiced in my head. Thank you for believing in me, I imagined saying. Even when others didn't. I wondered if my parents would hear it. Would they clap? I whispered. Would they finally look at me with pride? Ethan joined me by the window. Do you still resent them? I do, I admitted. But I also still want their approval. That's complicated, he said. So am I replied. I'm ambition, anger, and longing all at once. Marcus overheard and muttered, Careful. Hope makes people foolish. Hope also motivates people, I said calmly. And I've learned how to control it. As graduation rehearsals began, nerves built inside me. This is it, I thought. The final test. Miss Rowan smiled at me after a practice run. You've grown, she said. Not just academically, but emotionally. I had to, I replied. Survival forced growth. You deserve to celebrate that, she said. Ethan clapped me on the shoulder. No matter who shows up, he said, I'm proud of you. That means more than you think, I admitted. Late one night I stared at my reflection. Will they choose me this time? I whispered. Or will I be abandoned again? The question haunted me. I don't need them, I reminded myself. But I still want them. I practiced another line of my imaginary speech. I turned pain into purpose, I whispered. I turned rejection into drive. For a moment I let myself imagine them standing afterward. We're proud of you, I pictured them saying. The thought made my chest ache. Ethan knocked softly. You okay? I'm balancing hope and fear, I replied. Both feel heavy. You don't have to carry it alone, he said. Maybe not, I admitted. Marcus muttered from his bed, guess graduation makes everyone sentimental. Or reflective, I replied. Miss Rowan left a note on my desk the next morning, believe you deserve better. I folded it carefully. Maybe I do, I whispered. As graduation day neared, tension wrapped around me. This is the moment, I thought. Either they show up or they don't. I promised myself one thing. If they come, I'll accept it, I said quietly. If they don't, I'll still stand tall. Hope flickered inside me like a fragile flame. I won't let it control me, I vowed. But I won't deny it either. Standing in rehearsal, imagining the crowd, I whispered, this time I want to be chosen. Whether that wish would be answered or crushed remained unknown. But as graduation approached, hope returned. And with it, the final test of my heart. Graduation day arrived and my heart wouldn't stop racing. This is it, I whispered. This is the day they finally show up. I stood in line with the other students, adjusting my collar, pretending I wasn't terrified. Ethan leaned toward me. You look like you're waiting for a miracle, he said softly. Maybe I am, I replied. Maybe today will be different. Miss Rowan smiled at me. No matter what happens, remember your worth, she said. I'll try, I answered. But today feels like a verdict. We walked into the hall and applause filled the room. Parents waved, cameras flashed, laughter echoed. I scanned the crowd immediately. Mom? I murmured. Dad. Rows of faces blurred together. Keep looking, I told myself. They're probably late. Names were called one by one. Students crossed the stage, hugged their families, posed for photos. Ethan's name rang out. He glanced at me before walking forward. Wish me luck, he whispered. You've already earned it, I replied. He returned smiling, his family surrounding him. I clapped, but my hands felt numb. My name hadn't been called yet. They'll be here by the time I walk, I thought. They wouldn't miss this. Marcus passed by me, smirking less confidently than before. Big day, he muttered. Hope someone shows up for you. They will, I said quietly. They have to. He shrugged and looked away. More names. More cheers. More embraces. Every time the doors opened, my chest tightened. Any moment now, I whispered. Any second. Finally I heard it. Daniel. My legs felt heavy as I walked across the stage. Applause rose, but it sounded distant. I looked into the crowd again. Please, I begged silently. Let me see you. I didn't. I accepted my certificate and forced a smile. Smile, I told myself. Don't let them see the break. When I stepped off the stage, Ethan approached. They're not here yet? He asked carefully. I don't see them, I replied. Maybe they're stuck in traffic. He hesitated. Do you want me to stay with you? No, I said. I'll be fine. But I wasn't. Families gathered around their children. Proud voices filled the air. We're so proud of you. You did it. We never doubted you. Each sentence felt like a knife. I stood near the edge of the crowd, clutching my suitcase. They'll come, I whispered. They wouldn't abandon me again. Minutes passed. Then more. People began leaving. Where are you? I murmured. Did you forget? Ethan hugged his parents and looked back at me with concern. Want to come with us for a bit? He asked. No, I replied. I'll wait. You don't have to wait alone, he said. I do, I insisted. This is my test. He nodded reluctantly and left. The hall emptied. Laughter faded. Chairs scraped against the floor. Only a few staff members remained. I stood there holding my suitcase, feeling smaller with every second. They're not coming, I whispered. Saying it out loud hurt worse than thinking it. Miss Rowan approached gently. Are you waiting for someone? My parents, I replied. They're probably just late. Her eyes softened. I'm sorry. That single sentence shattered the last piece of hope I had left. So it's official, I thought. No one came for me. I walked outside alone. The sun felt too bright. Families loaded cars, took photos, shared hugs. I tightened my grip on my suitcase. Don't cry, I told myself. You promised you wouldn't. But my throat burned. I headed toward the bus while others walked toward their homes. Goodbye, someone called to a parent. See you soon, another student laughed. No one called my name. Each step felt heavier than the last. They never chose me, I whispered. Not once. At the bus stop, I sat down and stared at the empty space beside me. This is what abandonment looks like, I muttered. Not loud. Just silent. My phone buzzed briefly. A message from Ethan. I'm proud of you. I typed back, thank you. But it didn't fill the hole. They missed the most important day of my life, I said quietly. What excuse could justify that? The answer didn't matter. The damage was already done. I remembered every letter I'd written. Every time I'd hoped. Every promise I'd made to stop caring. This is the final proof, I told myself. I was never their priority. The bus arrived with a hiss. I stood and boarded alone. As it pulled away, I watched the school disappear behind me. This pain is permanent, I whispered. But it will become power. Tears threatened, but I forced them back. I will never beg for validation again, I vowed. Not from them. Not from anyone. I rested my forehead against the window. They had their chance, I said bitterly. Now I choose myself. The humiliation burned deep. So this is the core of my life, I thought. The moment I truly understood I was on my own. I straightened my posture. If they didn't want me, I whispered, then I don't need them. I imagined my future instead. I'll build success, I promised. I'll build influence. I'll build a life where I am enough. The bus rolled forward, carrying me away from the last trace of childhood hope. I won't seek love that doesn't come, I said quietly. I won't chase people who never chose me. My heart ached, but my resolve hardened. No one came for me, I repeated. So from now on I will come for myself. And in that moment of ultimate abandonment, I made a vow that would shape everything I became. Adulthood didn't feel like freedom at first, it felt like survival with higher stakes. I won't let my past define me, I told myself. I'll build something unstoppable. My first job was exhausting, but I treated it like a battlefield. Be early, I whispered. Be sharp. Be indispensable. A coworker once joked, you work like you're running from something. I am, I replied. I'm running from being powerless. Late nights turned into promotions. Discipline beats luck, I muttered. And I have plenty of discipline. One evening my phone buzzed with a familiar name. Ethan. Daniel, he said when we met for coffee, you've changed. I had to, I replied. The world doesn't reward vulnerability. You look successful, he admitted. But you also look distant. I learned distance keeps me safe, I said. You don't have to live like that, he replied. You're allowed to feel. I feel, I said calmly. I just don't let emotions control me. He smiled sadly. You used to talk about dreams. Now you talk about strategy. Dreams got me hurt, I answered. Strategy got me ahead. A week later, I ran into Marcus by accident. He looked tired, worn down, nothing like the confident bully I remembered. Daniel, he said hesitantly. You're doing well, I hear. I am, I replied. How about you? He shrugged. Trying to figure things out. Funny how power shifts, I said evenly. He laughed weakly. Guess karma's real. I don't believe in karma, I replied. I believe in consequences. Seeing him struggle stirred something complicated inside me. You ever think about the past? He asked. I think about the lessons, I said. Not the people. He nodded slowly. I wasn't kind to you. No, I agreed. You weren't. I regret it, he said quietly. I don't need your apology, I replied. I needed respect back then. Walking away from him felt like closing a chapter. At work, my manager praised me during a meeting. You're one of our most reliable leaders, she said. I earned it, I replied. Nothing was handed to me. Coworkers asked how I stayed so composed. Pain taught me focus, I told them. And focus builds power. Still, late at night, anger sometimes resurfaced. Why did it hurt so much? I whispered to myself. Why do I still care? Ethan noticed the tension when we met again. You've built an impressive life, he said. But you seem haunted. I'm not haunted, I insisted. I'm motivated. By what? He asked. Success or revenge? By control, I replied. I never want to feel helpless again. That's understandable, he said. But healing isn't the same as hardening. I don't trust healing, I answered. I trust progress. Marcus messaged me weeks later. You ever forgive people? I stared at the text. Forgiveness isn't necessary, I typed. Growth is. He replied, you've grown more than any of us. That was the goal, I wrote back. My career kept rising. New responsibilities. New recognition. You're impressive, a colleague said. What drives you? I refuse to be forgotten, I replied. I refused to be replaceable. But when I sat alone in my apartment, success sometimes felt hollow. Is this enough? I whispered. Or am I still proving something? Ethan challenged me one night. You don't have to live in defense mode forever, he said. You can let people in. I let results in, I replied. People disappoint. So did your parents, he said gently. But that doesn't mean everyone will. I stopped waiting for love, I said. Waiting never ended well. He sighed. You're strong. I just hope you don't lose your softness. I already lost it, I replied. That's why I survived. Marcus and I crossed paths once more at a networking event. You look untouchable, he said. Like nothing gets to you. Appearances can be useful, I replied. Do you ever feel angry at me? He asked. I used to, I said honestly. Now I feel indifferent. That might hurt worse, he admitted. It's not meant to hurt, I replied. It's meant to free me. Driving home afterward, unresolved sadness crept in. I won, I whispered. So why does part of me still ache? I remembered standing alone at graduation. No one came for me, I murmured. That pain built this ambition. Ethan reminded me later, you don't have to choose between strength and healing. I don't know how to heal, I admitted. I only know how to rise. You're allowed to rise without burning bridges, he said. I'll think about it, I replied. At work, another promotion landed on my desk. You've earned this, my manager said. I always do, I replied quietly. That night I stared at my reflection. I reinvented myself, I whispered. From abandoned kid to self-made adult. Marcus struggled. Ethan worried. I succeeded. The balance has shifted, I thought. The people who hurt me are behind me now. Yet the anger hadn't fully faded. Revenge feels tempting, I admitted to myself. But peace feels necessary. I closed my eyes and took a breath. I'll keep building, I vowed. But maybe one day I'll also learn to let go. Growth had given me power. Resilience had given me confidence. Now I faced a harder challenge. Choosing between holding on to pain and finally healing from it. The message from my parents arrived on an ordinary evening, yet it shook everything I thought I had buried. Daniel, the email began, we've been thinking about you. We regret the distance. We want to talk. I stared at the screen. Now, I whispered. After all these years? My hands trembled, but my voice stayed steady. You don't get to rewrite the past, I muttered. Still, curiosity won over silence. When we spoke on the phone, my mother's voice sounded smaller than I remembered. We're sorry, she said. We should have been there. You chose your careers over raising me, I replied calmly. That choice shaped my entire life. My father cleared his throat. We thought providing opportunities was enough. It wasn't, I said. It felt like abandonment. We want forgiveness, my mother whispered. We miss you. You miss the version of me you never supported, I answered. I survived without you. There was a long pause. Can we meet? She asked. Maybe, I said. But don't expect gratitude. After the call, anger flared, then settled into something colder. They need closure, I told myself. But I already built mine. A week later, Liam reached out. I owe you an apology, he said when we met. I envied your strength back then. You betrayed me, I replied evenly. You traded my trust for convenience. I regret it, he said. You became everything I wanted to be. Regret doesn't undo damage, I said. It only proves you understand it now. He looked ashamed. I thought I was being clever. I was just afraid. You taught me a valuable lesson, I replied. Trust is earned, not assumed. Marcus also contacted me, his tone heavy with guilt. I treated you terribly, he admitted. I was insecure. You were cruel, I said. That insecurity hurt people. I'm paying for it now, he said quietly. Life hasn't been kind. I'm not responsible for your consequences, I replied. But I acknowledge your regret. All three conversations carried the same weight. They need me, I realized. Not the other way around. When I finally met my parents in person, the atmosphere felt tense. You've grown, my father said softly. You look successful. I am, I replied. Success came from being left alone. My mother reached for my hand. We want to make things right. You can't rewrite what happened, I said gently. You can only accept its impact. Tears filled her eyes. We were wrong. I know, I said. And I've already processed that. They looked surprised by my calm. "You're not angry?" my father asked. I admitted. "Now I'm controlled." Liam messaged later. "Do you hate me?" "No," I replied. "I've outgrown resentment." He answered, "You're stronger than I ever was." "Strength came from betrayal," I typed back. Marcus asked during a brief call, "Do you think I deserve forgiveness?" "I think you deserve accountability," I said. "Forgiveness is personal." He sighed. "You're right." Inside, I wrestled with temptation. Should I make them feel the pain I felt? I wondered, should I let revenge speak? But revenge felt smaller than the life I'd built. "I don't need to hurt them," I told myself. "Their regret already speaks." Ethan noticed the shift when we met. "You seem calmer," he said. "Like you've won something." I realized I don't need their validation, I replied. "They need my understanding." "That's power," he said. "It's control," I answered. Control over my emotions. When my parents apologized again, I responded carefully. "I accept your regret," I said. "But I won't pretend it didn't change me." "We understand," my mother whispered. "We just want to be part of your life now." "You can be," I replied. "But on new terms." Liam admitted, "I envied how you turned pain into ambition." "I had no choice," I said. "Pain became fuel." Marcus confessed, "I regret who I was." "You can become better," I said. "But you can't erase the past." Each apology carried karmic weight. They hurt me, I thought, and now they feel the consequences. Instead of yelling, I spoke with restraint. "I don't hate you," I told them. "I simply no longer need you." The words felt liberating. My parents looked both relieved and ashamed. "We're proud of you," my father said quietly. "I'm proud of myself," I replied. "That matters more." Later, alone, I reflected on the moment. "They finally apologized," I whispered. But the timing changed everything. Anger still existed, but it no longer controlled me. "I choose closure over revenge," I said to myself. "Not because they deserve it, but because I do." Ethan asked, "Do you feel lighter?" "I feel steadier," I answered. "Like I'm finally in charge." Liam thanked me for listening. Marcus thanked me for honesty. My parents thanked me for meeting them. I accepted none of it as a victory. The real victory, I realized, is emotional independence. I closed my eyes and breathed deeply. "They needed forgiveness," I whispered. "I needed peace." Instead of lashing out, I let calm speak. "They will live with their regret," I said quietly. "And I will live with my strength." In that moment, I understood the final shift. The people who once controlled my pain now faced their own. And I walked forward, guided not by revenge, but by emotional mastery and earned self-respect. I often think back to that day at graduation, standing alone with my suitcase, the weight of abandonment pressing on my shoulders. "I carried everything myself," I whispered to no one. And somehow I survived. That memory used to sting like fire. Now it feels like a mark of the beginning, my first step toward independence. Ethan called one evening. "You ever think about that day?" he asked. "All the time," I admitted. "It's the day I stopped waiting for anyone to choose me." "You've changed so much," he said softly. "You don't need validation from anyone now." "I realized long ago that waiting never worked," I replied. "Every person who mattered failed to show up. I had to show up for myself." Liam reached out later, tentative. "You've grown stronger than I imagined," he said. "Strength isn't always visible," I answered. "It's in the choices you make after being hurt." Marcus, now a shadow of his former self, admitted during a brief encounter, "I envy your control." "Control is earned," I replied. "Not taken. Not given." I often replay that image in my mind. Me, 9 years old, gripping a small suitcase, leaving the schoolyard alone. At that moment I didn't just walk, I whispered. I carried the start of everything I'd become. I remember the sting of every letter unanswered, every betrayal, every humiliation. And I remember the fire it lit inside me. "Pain was my fuel," I said aloud one night while reviewing my first business plan. Anger became focus. Loss became ambition. Ethan noticed the shift. "You're not cold," he said. "You're selective. You know where your energy goes." "I've learned that energy is precious," I replied. "I won't waste it on people who never valued me." I revisit Miss Rowan's words often. "You deserve better than neglect," she said years ago. "Believe in your own worth." "I do," I whispered now. "I finally do." My parents tried to reconnect, offering apologies I had once longed for. "I hear your regret," I said during the first meeting. But I don't need your validation to exist anymore. They look smaller than I imagined, I thought afterward. Not because they're physically smaller, but because their absence lost power over me. When Liam confessed he envied my resilience, I didn't feel triumph or glee. I felt acknowledgement of a truth I had always known. Strength is built from surviving, not from being saved. Marcus, too, seemed diminished in comparison to my self-possession. I misused my time, he admitted. Now you see the cost, I replied. I learned it through experience, you learned it through consequence. Even success, recognition, and achievements weren't enough alone. Emotional mastery had become the cornerstone of my life. Every scar, I said to Ethan during a late-night conversation, tells a story. Every betrayal taught me strategy. Every disappointment built resilience. Ethan smiled. You're at peace with it now? I am, I said. Not because I forgot the pain, but because I reframed it. I return in thought to that day with my suitcase. The shame I once carried has transformed into pride. I didn't wait for someone to rescue me, I whispered. I carried myself forward. And I still am. In the mirror, I see the reflection of someone tempered by fire but not hardened into bitterness. Strength isn't revenge, I said aloud. It's understanding that no one else holds your worth. I visualize walking forward, suitcase in hand, not a child anymore but a fully realized version of myself. The weight I carried then was heavy, I muttered. But it was mine to bear, and mine to transform. Ethan often says, you inspire people without even trying. I inspire myself, I replied. That's what matters most. My parents' late apologies, Liam's envy, Marcus's regrets. They exist as echoes in my story. I honor them, but they no longer direct my path. I choose myself, I whispered. I choose my future. I choose strength over resentment. Every step I take now is deliberate. Every goal is mine. Every success is proof that survival isn't just about enduring, it's about becoming. Sometimes I imagine the child I was, suitcase in hand, watching cars disappear in the distance. You did it, I tell him silently. You became more than they imagined. You became everything you promised yourself. I lift my gaze toward the horizon, suitcase metaphorical now, carrying not pain but possibility. Tomorrow, I whisper, I walk forward unshaken, unclaimed by anyone's absence. I am my own choice. I am my own justice. I am my own future. And with that, the last trace of waiting fades. The path ahead is mine and I carry it with my own strength.